Welcome to the room. All right, you all. I am really looking forward to this room and this space. So, I wanted to try something a little bit different today with the title. I'm hoping to really, I like Fridays. Fridays are my day to experiment with rooms and play around with titles and I don't know, get a little bit looser with it to prepare for the weekend and just relax a little bit more after a week. These weeks are intense. I don't know if you all are feeling that. I don't know if it's the August end of summer energy, kids going back to school, but it's been an intense couple weeks and there's been a lot of different reports coming out. And it's probably because I'm also doing more research about the state of online education and the state of online courses. We know that after COVID, many children, most children, everybody, I guess if schools were closed down, then nobody was in school. So children had to really start learning from home. They were forced to be homeschooled. Parents were forced to homeschool, even if they had no idea how to do that. And then parents were also forced to work from home. So a lot has changed already in the world of education. And because so many people were forced to offer remote education and courses online, I there's just so much room for growth here in the online course world. And in what I just mentioned is just talking about the public education systems, the main education systems. But today I also want to talk about online courses that people are selling, digital products that creators and entrepreneurs and business owners are selling online because there's a huge problem there as well. So that's why I named this room today, Why Are 99% of Online Courses Trash? And look, I'm including myself here, okay? I really want this to be an inclusive conversation that has us really reflect on online courses, ones that we've created, ones that we've been a part of. And I want today to really talk about this statistic of why only 3% of people are actually finishing online courses. And then if we think about how many people get results from online courses, it's going to be a fraction of people that actually finish. So that's where this percentage came from. 99% of online courses are trash because if people aren't finishing and if they're not seeing results, and that means that the online course wasn't effective. And again, I'm including online courses that I've created before too, because now that I have done this research and experimenting and working with community and thinking about courses of the future, I'm seeing all the places that we've gone wrong. And so I'm really excited to have this conversation because I'm solutions focused and oriented, of course. So if you stick around, you're going to hear different ideas and thoughts about how to make online courses better, how to prepare them for the future, how to make them transformational and results driven. And I'm really excited about that. So I'll go ahead and pass the mic to you first, Cindy. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Priscilla. I'm so excited to be here. So, first, let me just quickly introduce myself. As Chriselle said, I am an instructional designer. I graduated with my Master's of Science in Instructional Design. And I also have my MBA, and I'm a PMP and a certified Scrum Master as well. So, I say all that to say I have led instructional design teams to create courses. I'm also a business strategist, so I support and coach entrepreneurs who are looking to transfer or transition out of their 9 to 5s and into their jobs full time, as well as I help people with their personal, professional career growth, helping them to strategically go after the jobs that they want, because I fundamentally believe that we should all enjoy the work that we do day to day. I'm a lifetime learner. I believe that learning should be accessible, and I spent a lot of time in my graduate program really focusing and sharing ways that we can make knowledge more accessible. And so, one of the things I've really been excited to see over the last couple of years, especially with what everyone calls AI, but what I consider to be machine learning, is how instantaneously we can share knowledge and create knowledge to pass on to others. I think that the short or the high level answer to this question is bittersweet, because I think that knowledge has become more accessible, which is so important. And there are so many individuals out there now who want to share and want to help other people grow in many different facets of their lives, whether it's finding love, whether it's improving self care, growing their business. We all, as individuals, have a wealth of knowledge, and social media, AI platforms, and content creation platforms have allowed us the access to be teachers and to go out and teach people. So we're no longer limited to teaching a course behind a university or behind a paywall. And so I think that we are growing our access to knowledge and what that looks like at a rapid pace. And so, with so much abundance on the market, I think that is why 99% of online courses are potentially trash. Um,
I was waiting for you to say that. I'm like, is she gonna say it? She
yes,
said
yes.
potentially. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And I also just want to remind us, right? So before we started, I actually looked, and the public college graduation rate is 63%. So going back to what Chriselle was saying, about 3% of people actually finishing an online course, and thinking of where that course is priced, what the price point is of that course. Is it free? If only 63% of people that start on a public college journey end up finishing, I'm not surprised that only 3% of people are finishing online courses.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm so happy to have you weigh in. And it's so funny to have Cindy's my little sister, and yet she is such a grown woman and she knows so much. And so it's always nice to hear your background and everything. Do you all think we sound alike? Curious.
And real quick, I'll also say I do consider myself a course snob. I have reviewed a lot of courses, I've given feedback on courses, and I don't say that to discourage anyone. I think it takes a lot of courage and a lot of creativity to be able to want to put out a course, and it takes time and dedication. So I think that's the first step. And so, yeah, so if anybody ever wants feedback on their courses, I'd be more than happy to give my professional recommendations and input.
I just have to say that I really believe that this is one of the biggest reasons so many courses are not effective is because people are not actually getting feedback. I'd be interested to hear what you all think of that as well, but I think that this is one of the biggest issues is that people are creating courses in silos and then they're just putting them out there and people are buying them, but they're not actually getting feedback. They're not getting feedback from the students. They're not doing assessments properly to see if the students actually met the objectives from the course. There's a whole feedback loop that's missing. And again, we are going to get into solutions, of course. I have lots of solutions for you, and I'm sure other people here have solutions as well. So that when we are creating our online courses, we're making sure that they are not trash, that they're highly effective, transformational, and we can monetize off of them in a way that helps us sleep at night, right? We're not going to sleep knowing, yeah, we made money today, but people aren't even going to finish what we offered them.
So, my name is Sandra. I am an online course coach and consultant, right? So, I help entrepreneurs create courses all the way from the idea phase through the after nurture sequence, right? So, I wanted to weigh in where and totally agree with Cindy when she said, what happens is people are not taking the time to create the course. When people think of online courses, Some people just think that it's just creating modules and lessons, but there's so many other things that are associated with course. Wanting to create a course over a weekend, that's one of the things. I can't wait to hear what solutions you guys have. Thank you.
You know what, Sandra? That is so true. And I can really relate to that because I have been working on the same course for 6 months. I released the course 6 months ago, and I'm constantly reiterating the course, and I'm about to release it again as a program, totally differently this time. So I can't imagine trying to do a course in a weekend or trying to do a course in a few days because it just does take so much time, and you have to actually have people go through the course again. If you're not beta testing that course, validating that course, then yeah, it's really going to be difficult to get any sort of results or transformation from it. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for adding in on this topic.
Thank you, Christelle. It's so great to see you. I've been busy and I haven't been able to pop in, but I will tell you, you said you were experimenting with titles. And as soon as I saw this title come up on my phone, I flew here. Dropped what I was doing and flew here. So, great topic. And I will tell you, ironically, I am sitting here and I'm in the process of the build out for my course, which has gone through multiple layers of beta testing. So I help women simplify in their online business. So I'm a business strategist and a mindset mentor. And simplification is so important to me because I'm also a homeschooling mom. So literally, ain't nobody got time for that. Okay. But where I see with a lot of these courses is number one, there's a huge, or tends to be a huge misalignment with the marketing and the messaging of the marketing in the course, and then the expectation that it leaves the person in the audience with. And this is, it's a tricky one to navigate. So yeah, there's a huge misalignment with the marketing, the messaging that goes into so much of the marketing, and then the expectation that leaves in the mouth of the potential buyer. So it's a little sticky because and honestly, since stepping into your rooms and some of Gary's rooms, I have finally embraced more of the content creation side of being, having an online course or being an online entrepreneur. And we give these tips and little nuggets, and we make it sound like something. And you'll have people who literally say, oh, you could do this in your sleep. How many times have you heard I make money in my sleep? And that gives that type of messaging. You want to pull in the audience, but then when it comes time for them to invest, you are setting the stage for them to think that literally they're going to be able to put in this bare minimum effort and thought and get these types of results. And very quickly, that becomes discouraging. And so then people walk away. There's also, and Christelle, you had just said this, lack of commitment to testing and refining, not just before fully releasing, but even when it's released. So creating a course can feel this beast of burden when you're in the middle of it, and you want to make sure you have the modules and the lessons and all of that perfected. So a lot of times you'll have people who drop a course and then they don't want to go back and touch it, right? They don't want to go back and have to re-record something. And this ties into the last thing before I stand off of my soapbox here, which is we have a lot of people who will price gouge and who will stuff these courses full of so much fluff and things that really are not the most necessary pieces, almost just to be able to slap that higher ticket on it. I see this rampant, especially on Facebook, which is where I tend to do most of my marketing and be cultivating my Facebook group. But between stuffing the course with so many things that just end up giving people these bigger and more kind of trivial hurdles that they have to jump over in order to start seeing some encouraging results that will encourage them to continue. They give them all sorts of things, but this is how, and listen, I'm into manifestation and energetics, but you have to go outside with your crystals and howl at the moon at this exact time to build up your energy, like just courses, and that'll be like how to build your business. So that, and the lack of transparency and the lack of just keeping it simple In the messaging, we have to start, and let me not get into that because I know you don't want to get into solutions now, but I would say the messaging needs to be speaking to the people who will get the best results.
Oh my gosh, I love what you just said.
I would love to respond here. So I agree with what you just said, right? I've been offered, I can't tell you how many courses I've been offered here on Clubhouse. And after I go to their page and I'm like, okay, this is great. But then I look at what they're offering. And first of all, like you said, they want a price gouge. I was just in another room, and I'm not going to say who it was, but they said, "Oh, my course isn't free." And I'm thinking, "Okay, that's I understand that." But I want to talk about the accessibility piece here for a second, not giving solutions, but at the moment, but I'll I'm always a little nervous to buy courses just because I don't know if that course is going to be accessible with my screen reader, or if I'm going to be able to complete it if it's not like interactive, or if they have PDF files. Oh, is it just going to be a bunch of pictures? Yeah, that's what I want to say to the people here, especially in this community in OCC Metaversity. I would love to help you guys, and I won't charge a whole lot, but I would love to help you guys really make your courses accessible so that, and even like the platforms that you put your courses on, right? I'm I I'm on I have a few courses I'm taking on Teachable. Teachable's accessible. But I heard you, Crystal, mention about Notion. I haven't tested out Notion yet, so I don't know if that is accessible. These are learning platforms is something else that I'm actually delving into because they use them a lot in college, but now I'm learning that no, it's just not college that they're using them. It's also within the online course industry, period. I'm going back to school to do tech stuff, and I found the one that I can do courses and it's fine, but there's some other things that I want to do, like coding and all these other things. So one of the things that makes Teachable accessible is that, first of all, I can log in with no problem. So I'm gonna give an example. So I actually bought this person's course, and the course is accessible. However, one of the things that I'm finding is that a lot of the websites, they love these captures. If you have a captcha on a page, and some of the websites, they have audio, like audible captchas, right, where it'll play a sound or it'll give words. But if the cap but if if it just says enter this captcha and it just gives an image, for the person who's used a screen reader like me, we don't know what's in that image, right? Okay, so another thing. So say you try to log in, that and you don't like, okay, so one of the other things that I've been noticing is that uh, if you're signing up for a program, or say you're signing up for, I'll use our university as an example. So say we try to sign up, and the form fields, if they're not labeled, I've been on some websites where it just says edit, and I'm thinking, what the frick do they want me to put there? Or if there's if there is a if there's those little combo boxes where they want you to click down to, they say drag and drop, that's not accessible to somebody who uses a screen reader, right? Because we can't really drag and we can, but there's a specific way to do it. And there's just little things that people don't realize when they're creating these courses. Another thing is that a lot of courses are use video, and I love video. I love to sit down and listen to things on YouTube. I love video. However, if you're going to create a video, please make sure there's a transcript that I can click on as I'm listening to the video, because some of you guys know, but I'm not only blind, but I have ADHD as well. And for me, I love to, if it's going to be a video in a module, I love to not only be able to listen to the video part of it, but follow along. And so there's just so many like little things that people don't consider when they're creating these courses and these online platforms. And yes, Crystal, I would have loved to to do the audit, because a lot of these companies or these course creators, they don't beta test their stuff. They don't allow people to. I remember I emailed somebody, it was not on Clubhouse, I haven't had that problem, but it was outside of Clubhouse, and I said, I tried to take your course, and it was a free course, but I tried to take your course, blah, blah, and I gave all the reasons why it wasn't accessible. And I got back, they were like, oh, I didn't know that, but we're not interested in that right now.
But I love what you're saying so much. And again, I say this almost every time you're here. You are such a wonderful and important reminder to us how important accessibility is. And in this conversation, you've brought up so many great points. And I would love to support you with starting your course audit business because, look, the title lets us know why that business is so necessary. And we know that lack of accessibility is a huge reason why so many online courses, as Cindy said, are potentially trash. Thank you all so much for joining us. My name's Christelle, and I'm the founder of One Click Creator, the community, and also I'm the founding principal of OCC Metaversity. If you are interested in learning more about OCC Metaversity, which is an educational platform and community space for educators of the future, so anyone who's really interested in sharing their knowledge, their information, in a way that is very future forward focused, which includes accessibility. So learning of the future is personalized, it is customized, it is given in micro chunks and bits so that we're not overwhelming people, and it's highly accessible. Lisa, you said something that was so powerful, and honestly, I felt a little bit exposed because I know that I have done this. I know that I have done this in my desire to make the course as valuable as possible. I would add things in that then later I'm like, why did I even do that to myself? Because now I need to deliver on this thing that I've added into the course package to try to make it more valuable. And it's a bad move. Like, simplicity really is. I think that simplicity and then adding on as your audience and community tells you what they need, they give you feedback, and only doing what you know you can deliver on. And it's so true what you said, Lisa, about when we're marketing the course and we're talking about this and that,
Stuffing it.
stuffing it. I got that visual. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is, it's not me anymore. Hopefully, it's a lesson that I've learned, but it was a hard lesson to learn. And it's definitely something that I have been guilty of in the past. So that's why I say, when I say, why are 99% of online courses trash? This is not to look down on other people like I'm on some pedestal. No, I'm including myself in this. And this conversation is teaching me so much already about how to improve my courses. So I just want to say thank you, Lisa. When we are marketing our courses, it is so important to set the expectations very clearly up front, because what happens is people get disappointed. Of course, they get disappointed if you've sold them this pipe dream and you've made it seem like they can get a course in 2 days, or my first course was 7 days, 7-day AI course accelerator. And Sandra was talking about this as well. And we set up these expectations that this is easy and anyone can do it and make money in your sleep. And it's part of the marketing strategy. But what we're doing is we're just convincing people to pay for something spontaneously from this emotional place. And then what happens? They become so disappointed, the expectations aren't met, and they will go around and run and tell that, right? And now your name is out here in these streets as someone who's selling products and not delivering. It's not good. And again, this is not me pointing the finger at anybody else. This is me constantly learning how I can do better and how I can set better and clearer expectations for my own courses as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Christelle. First, I want to say I know Minnie Danielle from other rooms, and I really love what she does. Like, what she does is so super important. When Lisa was talking, I wrote down three things. I wrote stuffing, the messaging, and then not really providing what it says that your course is, right? I've been guilty of taking courses and then not completing them. And the reason is because the messaging is not aligned with your target audience. And again, this is one of the reasons why it takes time to create a course, because there's a research phase, right? And if your message is not aligned with your target audience, what happens? They buy into your course because they think that's what they need, and they never complete it. So this is one of the things I tell my clients is no fluff. I don't know if you guys are not old enough to remember that fluff and peanut butter or fluff. So there's no fluff in our courses, right? I help them create high quality courses. Now, a high quality course is not a course that costs $2,000 or is 12 modules. A high quality course is a course that provides a true transformation, and it gives you what it promises. That's what I say is a high quality course. So this conversation is just, I'm loving it. So thanks, Christelle.
Thank you all. God's, you are going to do this room today and you're going to learn today. That's how I feel. Like I am learning so much from you all. And I just want to say thank you. One of the huge mistakes that I made coming into this is thinking, oh, my background is teaching and curriculum design. Of course, I can put together some online courses. Like, how difficult could that possibly be? But oh my goodness, what you are saying is so accurate, Sandra, about the target audience and the ideal client, the ideal customer, because it's not just about the marketing piece. It's about making sure that you're delivering a product to people that are actually ready for it. I'm just so happy to learn from y'all and very grateful.
I'm so glad that we got to this point about talking about target audiences, because what that really is about is setting an expectation for a baseline knowledge ahead of someone coming into your course. And I want to be mindful of not giving solutions because the list is just growing. I'll finish this thought and then I'll go back to my first solution, which is for starting with a baseline knowledge, right? Like you do have to identify your audience, you have to identify your niche, and then you have to ensure that they're coming to you motivated and engaged and with the knowledge, the preparatory knowledge, in order to start your course and to be successful. And if you feel like that is a very narrow audience, I think that is okay. Give them other resources that they can leverage ahead of starting your course. And so that brings me to I think my biggest solution here is, does everything actually really need to genuinely be a course? Chriselle, I think you do this well as providing space on this platform and in other ways to build people's engagement, to build people's motivation so that they can have their own insights, they can do their own research so that when they're actually ready, they can actually sit down and do a course and get something tangible out of it. So I say that to say courses are great, and at the end of the day they're a product, and we love products as entrepreneurs, especially when they can be evergreen and they can sell, and we can, as I've heard, make money in our sleep, right? But there are other ways that there are other learning resources and learning products that you can create that don't have to be a course. That over time, if are good products, they're going to be funnel products. They're going to create a pipeline for you for your course. They could be a referral base for your course. So just being mindful that not everything needs to be a course.
Ooh, that is so good. So glad to have you here. And yes, we can absolutely get into the solutions for how to make sure that our courses are not trash and that they actually do lead to results and transformation. And we're not leading more and more people to spend 10. I was just talking to one of my clients the other day, and I'm just so ready to actually get this going and monetize. I've spent so much money on coaching and courses. And I asked her, I said, how much money have you spent? And she said, I've spent $14,000. And I was shocked. And she said she never monetized until she started working with OCC. And the cool thing here is that people monetize right away with us because I have everyone set up a buy me a coffee. And so many people have come to me. They've never monetized before. They set up that buy me a coffee account, and that could be the first thing, that ever gets them monetization, which is awesome. So, with that being said, I'm just on a mission to do something about people wasting all of this money and all of this time and not getting to transformation and results.
Good morning. Or
Hi.
okay, so this conversation is a conversation that needed to be had 10 years ago. I am going to call some people out without mentioning names, but you will know them if you know them. There are plenty of Facebook ads out there where people are being told that all you need is this. All you need to do is this. The $2,000 courses, the $4,000 courses, the $10,000 courses. Literally, not one of those things is going to launch your business. Not one. Because you need to know what it is that you're selling before you can go into one of these courses, which is essentially, doesn't matter what they say, it's essentially a marketing course. And if you don't understand every other part of the business, marketing is going to be useless. The first thing before you drop any money on anything is to figure out what is the easiest, lowest barrier to entry thing that I can sell. What do I know like I know that other people don't? What do I have like it is ingrained in me that other people need? Start with your smallest. There's a reason it's called a minimum viable product. Start with your smallest thing. Give it away in the beginning. Get the feedback from people who are actually using it so that you can then make it useful to more people. Their feedback is your payment. So don't just give it away to anybody. Choose your people and say, in exchange for this for free, I am expecting your feedback. I'm expecting you to critique it. I want you to break this because I want it to be so good. And especially if you're having people learn on their own, if you're doing self-paced things or if you're doing downloadables, whatever it is, if you're not there to guide them, you need people to tell you where the holes are. Because when you sell something that you think other people need, you are literally not making something for somebody else. You are making something because you decided to make something. And that's fine. There's a market for that. But if you actually want people to complete what it is that you've made, to buy it and tell other people that it was money well spent, whether it was only $5, And I was like, why is this only $5? This is the best thing I've ever done in my life. Or this was free and it is worth more than the $10,000 thing that I spent 2 years going through. You want that kind of reaction to everything that you do. And you can grow your niche. I say this all the time. Niche your product, not your business in the beginning. Find the product that you can be known for, that everybody will say, if this is what she did with, or if this is what they did with that, I can only imagine what they're doing with this next thing. And because Christelle's entire model is this micro learning thing, you just keep adding. Okay, if you needed to learn this, you probably need this next because the people who tested this told me that it was missing that. And you tell your people. And the people who help you build, you always come back to test something else. You will always have people to be your beta testers because they trust you enough to take their time. They're investing their time in you as much as you're investing your product in them. So start small. Do not spend thousands of dollars on anything until that $1,000 would be spent on advertising because that is your marketing budget. It is not just your education budget, it is your marketing budget. So make sure that if that $1,000, that $10,000, that $500, fuck that $5, if that is what you would go out in the world and say, I just spent this money on, and it was the best dollar for 90% of the people who do these ads come from the same DNA. They come from a school of online, of telemarketing. Imagine buying courses from the ShamWow guy, because that is where 90% of these people come from. They are doing volume sales, which is why you see their ads. They don't care if you finish or not because they're doing volume sales. It's all about the numbers. You are a number. If you wouldn't be a number in real life, don't be somebody else's number. If they can't tell you what you need to know, then do not give them your money. If you cannot get support, do not give them your money. If you saw it in a Facebook ad, go to Reddit and look for the people who are complaining about it. You can then decide whether those complaints are petty or not. But unless you know what the outcome is going to be of your learning, it is not worth learning. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Can I,
I love it. I love you, Tanya.
so I just wanted to follow up what Tanya was saying by if you signed up for a CPR course or a pottery course and you showed up and there wasn't an instructor there and they just said, here are the instructions, practice on your dummy, or here are the instructions, go create a pot and paint it, would you stay? Would you be furious? Would you say, where is the instructor? I need to speak to a manager. I'd be speaking to a manager ASAP. And that's what so many of these courses are. They are a easy bake oven, set it and forget it. I'm not going to provide you that support. And that is critical because I've yet to pay for a degree, or I should say the Department of Ed on my behalf has yet to pay for a degree where there wasn't an instructor there, where I didn't have to do a feedback evaluation after the course, where I didn't show up and there was a syllabus. So keep that in mind when you are creating courses. Set the value around what you are offering, what is tangible in that course, and not just the fluff within the course.
Ooh, that's so good. I just want to do a really quick summary. Some of the reasons that we've talked about that courses are not effective. Online courses are generally not effective. We started the room with a statistic that only 3% of people who purchase online courses actually finish those courses. And then if we think about what percentage of people actually get results, if only 3% are finishing, then that means it's a smaller percentage, a fraction of that's actually seeing results. So this is where I get the number 99% of online courses are trash. Another statistic that I thought was pretty alarming is that only 30% of people even start the course. And so I want to add into this conversation, but one big thing that I feel like we do not talk enough about here, we don't have enough, is mindset. If the mindset is not there to take the course, to finish the course, to do the homework, to be accountable, then it's going to make the online course trash, even if it was the best online course ever.
Hey, I had to get that undone. Thank you, Crystal. Appreciate this so much for letting me speak. This is a really great topic. I think I've seen you host similar rooms like this before, but I'm honestly hardly on Clubhouse as much. Fridays are literally my only days. But yeah, I actually love what I'm hearing prior because this is a great topic in the sense of why is it that most people or a lot of people are buying these courses, but they're never getting it, they're never completing it, they don't feel satisfied, they feel like they don't get the value. And it's crazy because this is definitely me. And the same thing, I'm not going to name the courses that I've bought per se because some of them were like waste on the past, but I've noticed to myself, I think the most I'll say for me personally right now, I'll say this, I have only completed fully out of all the courses I bought ever one, fully completed one. But I have probably purchased a total of, I would say, anywhere between 7 to 8 courses. And out of those 7 to 8, or 7 courses in this case, I would say same thing with the statistic. I've probably only been anywhere between maybe 10 to 25% in and so forth. And what I found for that for myself, and this is also why I never really created a course for myself, because I want to figure out, well, how can I do this better? How can we actually make sure that not only are we delivering the value, but we're also making sure that people are honestly in a sense holding themselves accountable when they're taking these courses. So I think the biggest thing, and I think you hit the nail on the head with it, is that a lot of people will create these courses, but not really put so much care into what's their progression, where are they at, where do they need to go, where do they need to be. I do know of one entrepreneur, and I connected with them on, I think, Facebook. They have a course, and it's not my niche, so I didn't buy it. They gave me like an inside tour of it though, and I asked people who had also bought that course. But what that person actually does is they actually set up a system within that course that's basically shooting them like daily alerts and daily reminders of saying, hey, let's pick back up from where you started. 'Cause some, I'm not, you can say motivational reminders, but something like, hey, remember why you bought this course in the first place so you can get dot. I like that. I really like that. Again, what that is, it's not my niche or what I need. So I personally have not been in it, but again, I did talk to people who have taken that course and are in that, and the person themselves, and that's how they structure it. And I think that's a really great way that you can structure it. So rather than just simply putting a bunch of videos and documents and resources together and going on Kajabi, Teachable, whatever platform you want to use, and be like, boom, sell, buy, good luck. It's let's put some care into it, because truth be told, I think what a lot of businesses fail to realize that when they do that is when you create a structure like that for an online course, you're creating a failed community. And everybody, and a lot of people of us should know by now, especially when it comes down to branding and scaling businesses, it comes down to building a community. So how can you maintain community engagement? How can you maintain community awareness, community involvement? So I'm mixing my words a little bit. That's the thing that so many people are missing out on, because I think so many times they're focused on so much of, I just want to get to the money, I just want to make X amount of money, I just want to do this, I want to be able to make this money so I can quit my job. And the thing that you have to realize is you really have to slow down in that process, because if you want repetitive customers or whatever that may be, you have to have that community base. And if you're creating a course, that's the foundation I think that most people should be aware of, is you're not just creating a course to just put out there, you're creating a course to build a community out of this thing. Because again, going back into business, you can even create, maybe if you want to create like a subscription platform down the road, right, to have recurring revenue coming in, because maybe you have like an elite membership. And again, I'm just spitting ideas out of my mind right now, but I'm hoping I'm hoping this is making sense of where I'm going with this. And what I'm going to leave with is just that, yeah, if you're somebody out there who is currently creating a course, or you may have a course, like again, I've created courses, but I've never published any of them simply because of this factor. Because I'm thinking to myself, okay, let me think about all the course, and this is why I love the topic so much. I thought back to all the courses I bought and been a part of, and I'm thinking, when was the last time I logged into it? When was the last time I even touched it? And what's going to be different about what I'm doing compared to that person that I bought from? And if I can't find the difference between me and them, then I can sure as heck expect that people who do buy my course are going to do the same exact thing that I did to them. So this is why I also, again, I'm taking my time with things, but going based off that idea, I think this is what most people should keep in mind about course creation, and especially before you buy a course. Try to get as much information, try to get as much detail about it, especially if it's something that's already been out there. It's always great to try to talk to people who's in the course itself to see, hey, what's the culture like? Is there even a community? What can I expect? That to get more insight. Because again, it comes back to that it's your money, it's your investment. Be mindful about where it's going. So, anyway, now I'm going to leave it there because I could rant and rant. But, Crystal, thank you so much for this topic. And I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tavion, for adding to that. And I just love how much integrity that you bring to this conversation.
Hey everybody. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. I'm going to go right into it. So, what Tavion said there, especially with the format that he outlined for that particular person, that speaks to what you call accountability. And I always say to people, when you're looking at course creation, you want to model what old school education was while being in an online space. You want to have enough touch points in your process where people know that you want them to succeed. You want them to experience a change. And that is what that is right there. And someone sends you out a weekly reminder saying, hey guys, remember why you did this thing, right? Because when you can sit down and know say you decide you want to use the on-demand model, right? Uh, and everyone is going and you can monitor your students' progress, you can see where people are. It behooves you to ensure that these people know that you are there with them. I don't necessarily like the on-demand model, right? I personally, and just based on what the industry shows you, a 96% dropout rate, that puts a whole lot of responsibility on you to ensure that the people that take your course complete your course. But then at the same time, you shouldn't have ventured into course creation if that was not your mission, right? You want to lead with the value that your value and transformation that you're trying to sell first, more so than actually selling the thing. The value and the transformation is what you should be selling first, because ultimately, if you can deliver on the transformation that people seek, then people will come back to you, because a course does not make a person an expert. A course is an invitation into who you are and the type of value that you can further extend into a person's life. So when you can go in and you say, hey, take this mini course, and I guarantee you that when you come out of this, you're going to have a different mindset if that's your space. Or when you come out of it, you're going to find yourself making an extra $800 to $1,000 because that's what I told you you're going to get. And people are taking the active steps and they're doing it. That's fine, but you have to monitor them in that process. When people are going to school back in the day, you're failing. Your college professor comes to you and says, hey, guess what? This is where you are right now. I'm going to afford you some extra credit so you can make it up because I want you to pass, because they actually gave a crap at that point in time. That's the mindset that you have to adopt. You have to give a crap about your students, because you don't just want these people to take the course. It's not just the business model, it's the extended value that comes with them taking that journey with you. So they come in, and I like to say to people, if that's the model that you're going to use, there's a system called Video Ask. You can use it to ensure that you are in these people's ears consistently. And I talk to people about it all the time. Every week, you get an automated message going out to people saying, hey, this is where you are now, based on how they've signed up, mind you. And you say, please answer the following questions. See me? ¿Qué te pasa? Sorry, guys. You want an apple? Okay, I'm going to slice an apple and bring it to you, okay? Okay. I love you. Love you. All right, bye. Mwah. Yeah. You want to ensure that when they finish answering those questions based on the conditional logic that the platform creates, that it leads them to another video of you saying, hey, guess what? That didn't meet the mark. I'm going to ask you to go back and look at this week's module because I need you to get this thing done. And then the other one goes, hey, you know what? You got it. Great. You can move on to the next step. bang, they go into the next sequence and they're ready to go. Why? Because they feel like Tavion's got me. He's by my side. Yeah, I'm gonna complete this thing, and not just that, with the amount of value that I'm, getting right here, and the amount of accountability that I sense in his actions, I want to see what else he can do for me. For me personally, I like the asynchronous model. I like to actually deliver courses live. Why? Because it holds people to a higher standard. I want you to show up this week. I want you to do your homework, and I want you to come back next week. Why? Because if the results that I'm selling aren't what you're getting, then something's either wrong with my system or you're not taking action. And I don't want to be a blamer. I don't want to point fingers at anybody. I want everybody to be on the same page. So we have to be accountable. We have to hold our students accountable, and we have to make certain that they understand that we're there for them in the process. The reason why most courses these days are trash is because people just go, hey, course creation is a money making opportunity and I'm going to make a course. You need to evaluate the type of model that you need for your particular course. If you know that somebody is not just going to sit down and become you in 3 hours, then don't make it a 3 hour course. Turn it into a live workshop. And then if you, based on the reviews that you've gotten, you can always turn that into a consistent thing where you go, in the next workshop is going to be 6 weeks from now. And you appraise or refresh the landing page with the testimonials from batch one that just left, and you're inviting people in for batch two. It's pretty simple. It's a model that works. You can do it if you're in fitness and you want people to transform their bodies, and you can do it in business if you want people to transform how they're looking at their financial literacy. It works all across the board. Hold people to account, hold yourself to account, and deliver from a position of leadership. Don't just put stuff down and say, yep, this is it.
So the thing is, everything that everyone is saying is so on point, right? And it's not just about selling the course. That's ultimately the bottom line, right? I work with my clients, they create courses on proven methodology. I was going to create a post this morning about not superficial knowledge is not expertise, right? When people buy a course, it's not just to know superficial knowledge. They want you to dig deeper into what that is. They're buying your course because you're, first of all, an expert, and you show that by your social media, your testimonials, your social proof, and because you're curating the information for them. There's like a plane flying by, a low plane, but because truthfully, everything is out there on YouTube. Everything is out there. You can Google everything, but they're paying you because you're giving them your expert knowledge. You're saving them time. You're curating all the information, and most importantly, what I work with my clients is that after nurture sequence, right? When you hear after nurture sequence, it's not just about you selling them another course. It's about you validating that they're going through your course, continually to give them value, because with the email sequence we set up, we give them additional tools that may help them go through the course, and making sure, because these people are going to be part of your community, like Giovanni said. You're building cheerleaders. They can become recurring clients, and most importantly, they can refer your course or your product or your service, whatever it is that you're delivering exceptionally, to other people. So this is so important, and it falls back to people thinking, oh, I want to create a course because it's trending, because everybody's creating a course. No. First of all, you need to know what you're going to deliver, that it's a true proven transformation, and that your ideal client needs it, right? Like, we haven't talked about the avatar, because your ideal client is different from your avatar. Your avatar is where you dig deeper into their pain points, into their desires, into what it is that they're looking for, so that you can provide that transformation. So this is an amazing room, and I'm going to shut my mouth because I can talk about course creation all day long. Thanks.
I could too, and I just love this conversation. I want to see if Carolyn, did you want to hop in?
I
And
do. Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm Carolyn Rose. There's not much on my bio because I had gone off of Clubhouse and came back on, and I haven't put anything really back on my bio yet. But I've worked in the mind, body, spirit area for about close to 40 years, 35 to 40 years. And so I'm pretty knowledgeable in what I do. And I do teach courses, and I call myself a teacher, and that's where I started, was teaching in the Compton area. I'm a Compton girl. And I have to laugh at Tanya. I've had 36 courses that I haven't finished. So I've beat out whoever had 8. And some of them were $9.99 and some of them were $2,000. And so I'm one of those people that gets to a point where, okay, either I like the person who's teaching or I like what it is or whatever. But yeah, I'm 36. I counted it the other day. I'm 36 courses. I'm one of those people that wants to learn all the time and signs up if I feel like it's going to benefit me. And if it isn't, then I let go of it. But what I really wanted to say is I started teaching some courses one on one. So you could call it teacher, coach, whatever you want to do. And when I noticed it was a 7-week course, and both of they were, it was one time and then another time. And both of the young ladies that I was teaching both wanted to find a different position in life. And that's what I was actually teaching. And I was getting frustrated after about the fourth week because they weren't completing their assignments. All right. Let's say there was a vision board. My vision boards look very much different. I put some feathers on it, I put a leaf on it. I'm starting it. I bought the board for it. And I gave them like 2 weeks for this. And so I found that they weren't completing it. And then another time they weren't completing it. And so I put that on myself. And so when we were talking, I think it was Tony that was talking about cutting them down into small bites. And I think that's where I lost them, was from going from A to Z in this longer course on how to get a new position in life, in a job. And I think that I know it by heart. I can do it at the snap of a finger, but they couldn't. They were my niche. I had worked with these women for 20 years in a different area. But when it came to doing the work, for whatever reason, and I was getting upset, like I was like, are they lazy? What is the matter with them? They weren't into completing their assignments to go on to the next assignment. And they did. So I did go through the 7 weeks with each of them, and it took them about 5 or 6 months, and they did get another position in life. One started her own company and another did find another position in life. So I felt good about that. But I did not feel good that I knew this stuff inside, outside, backwards, forwards. They did not. And I think I gave them too much in the 7 weeks. And maybe 2 or 3 of the 7 things I should have had instead of all 7. So that's where I'm going to leave this. I just think that I'm going to put myself in this category. I'm an extremely good teacher. But when it came to delivering to these people, I felt like I failed them. I actually did. And yet I was angry at them inside of myself for not completing the assignments. But then I thought, am I doing something wrong here? And I think, and I'm going to say it one more time, I think that it was just too much. They just couldn't grasp everything that I was trying to teach them. So I'll leave it at that. And thank you for having me up.
To Carolyn, so when I mentioned earlier trimming the fat, and you have those people who want to overstuff their courses in order to justify a higher ticket, that's like so I think that there is also the opposite side of that, right? The people who really genuinely care and they really want to see the people that invest in themselves and invest with them get the results. And so you want to throw everything that you know, and this is what like Cindy had touched on before, like not everything has to be put into that. I think that when you go in with a clear outcome and then you say, okay, out of all of the knowledge that I have, this and this are the things that are necessary for this specific outcome. You might not just have one offer in you. No one said you had to create one course, right? That could be a different offer. That could be a master class that you give, right? There's so many different ways. And again, Cindy had mentioned this earlier, where you can create other offers, other things that will complement what they're getting in that course to achieve that result or to achieve a different result. And yet everything has this cohesion and links up. So what it comes down to also, it's like the supersize mentality. And it's funny because before I had mentioned the lack of alignment a lot of times with the marketing that is done to entice people to invest in these programs with the actual outcome and the expectation of the offer. So this goes back to the whole idea of supersize, more is better. And that comes down to value perception. And people don't just value things being in there for the sake of them being in there. I think that articulating why a step is going to be beneficial in helping them achieve said desired results. And I think that, again, adjusting the value perception and understanding this fact, and this is something that I know a lot of people who invest high ticket, and I'm talking like 10K and up in one single offer, will tell you, is that shrink time for me, collapse time for me, right? That doesn't mean that you have to be giving surface level solutions and surface level insights, but collapse time. And then that touches on, Christelle, what you do, which is micro offers. So whatever you can do to collapse time and not lead with the work and lead with what feels like a chore is something that also helps people, because look, attention spans, right? We have that TikTok attention span. So if you can do things to collapse time, maybe that means smaller bits of lessons in a module. Maybe again that means a side offer or a masterclass or something else, but something that is going to not feel like, okay, time is just dragging along. I'm not just investing for the result, I'm investing to attain that result in a time that's like the matrix download to a degree.
Oh my gosh, so good. And I just want to throw in a tool here real quick because I love tools and technology. And something I'm loving about Loom is that it solves so many of the things that we've talked about here with accessibility, like Minnie was talking about having the transcript. But also, you all know I love talking about micro learning. And Lisa, one strategy that I found to be so useful for me as a student when I'm learning is when someone shoots me a quick Loom of whatever my next step is. And so this is how I am now starting to teach my students. I was having a conversation with Monique earlier. It wasn't a conversation, we were texting. And she was asking me how to do something. Earlier, I had another student asking me how to do something. So my approach now is that I'm going to go to Loom. These are students, they've signed up for my program. They are committed to working with me. They've invested in work with me. And so what I can do now is create content specifically to what they are asking for. What is the next step in their journey? I was talking to a student this morning. I was like, don't worry about step 10, step 6, step 4. All you have to do is worry about the next step. Don't even worry about it. Just focus on the next step. And with Loom, I know I sound like a commercial right now. I'm not getting any sort of affiliate commission. I just love sharing technology that I think makes what we're talking about more practical and tangible. And with Loom, it's funny because you can use Loom for free if your video is less than 5 minutes. And I actually love that because it forces me to keep the video under 5 minutes because I truly believe in micro learning, one step at a time. So when Monique says, how do I do this? Can you show me how to do this? Yes, I can. I can just go make a Loom, show her how to do it. And here's the thing, I put it in my content library because if Monique needs to see this, other students are going to need to see it as well. So I'm ready to throw the whole course concept out the window and instead talk about content libraries, right? How do we organize our content so that our students can go and search for exactly what they need? The amazing thing about Loom is that it does automatically transcribe. So if you create folders, let's say you have folders and each folder is what you would have called a course before, and it's all the videos inside of that course. Now your student can go in there and search for exactly what they want in that folder. Maybe they don't need to see all 10 videos. Maybe they only needs to see video 2, 4, and 7 because that's what they need. So it's not just about the micro learning, it's the micro learning along with the individualized instruction. So the program I'm starting Monday, every single student has their own learning portal because they all need their own individualized program. And this is very difficult to do if you don't have the technology and if you don't have the system. So it's really about the system. I stopped calling what I'm about to do on Monday. It's not a course. It's a program to take people through the course system because you need an entire system for your course. Classroom teachers, instructors, they have systems. They have systems for pre-assessments. They have systems for feedback during the lesson. They have systems for post-assessments. They have systems for feedback. There are systems for coaching. So every student is going to have their own student learning portal and the information will be dripped out to them step by step. And so their progress depends on how quickly they move. And not just that, but the other thing that so many people were missing and the reason that they didn't move forward is because they just didn't have the help that they needed. And so the awesome thing about having virtual assistants, whether you hire your own virtual assistant or you're part of a community like OCC where we have community virtual assistants that we go in on together, so we don't have to hire someone part-time, full-time. You can have a virtual assistant for 2 hours a week if you want, just creating you content. The amazing thing about this is that this program, because it's not just a course, it's a program, we're learning and we're co-building at the same time. So when someone pays their subscription, the transformation happens up front because they're going to get a piece of their course built, whether it's their videos that they need or whether it's the thumbnails. Oh my gosh, people will wait months to post videos because they don't have the thumbnail. And when I say people, I'm talking about myself. So we also need partners and people building with us that will do the creation because so often we don't move forward in the marketing or the delivering or whatever because we don't have the content. We don't have the time to do social media. So the thing about doing a program instead of just a course is that you're offering a system and you're offering support and accountability and coaching. So I'm going to start doing a weekly Ask Anything coaching. So you're going to learn everything, you're going to get the support, and then once a week, I'm just going to come with my computer and you say what you need to see, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So this is the program that I have above. I would love your feedback on this. Okay, so I didn't just put it up here as an offer to sell. Of course, if you are looking to join, I would love for you to join. And really, the goal is to get people paid, like real, tangible money in the bank, not just an idea, but that is the results that many people are actually looking for when they go on this journey. So I would love it if you all would take a look. I would really appreciate it. And then if you do give me feedback and you do want to join the program, I will offer you a pretty big discount and another free gift, which is going to ironically be a course. But this is the course that I'm not focused on. I'm focused on a program and the course will just be a part of it. So I'm offering that for free for anyone who gives me feedback. That's something that Tanya suggested earlier, and it's a great thing to do. Give away high value for free. That's what I do every day when I come on Clubhouse, but ask for something in return, whether it's an email address, whether it's feedback on your program, whatever it is. That's the wonderful thing about giving and being of service, is that then it's totally appropriate and actually expected that you ask in return so that it's reciprocal.
A couple things came up, and I appreciate you holding the space. But one of the previous speakers spoke on some one-on-one courses that she had, and it really triggered a few thoughts for me that I think may be for the good of the group. First, this idea that what is simple is not always easy. This idea that I'm just going to create a course and I've got tons of experience in this area, so I'll just put a few things together and it should be straightforward. But those of us who have tons of experience and have done this time and time again and for years, and as Christelle says, we've got results in this area, that makes us very familiar with this thing that we have to deliver. And sometimes we confuse the familiar with the obvious. And so for the learner for the first time, and I think the example she gave was the vision board, and she's done vision boards and she knows how to go and where to get the stuff and all of that. But for the other person, it's not so obvious. It's just that you're very familiar with this particular thing. And I think a lot of us instructors make a lot of assumptions. I've done it in my own career, especially early on, because I am a biochemist. One of the main things is the difference between a good teacher and a great teacher is this idea that is it that the teacher is teaching, or are they creating an experience such that the learner is learning? And I hope I'm okay to use this as an example. I don't mean to be personal with it, but it's a great example. This idea of the vision board. When I give the assignment and then a week goes by and there's all these excuses and another week goes by and we still don't have results, at that point, once again, am I the teacher teaching, or is it about the learner learning? So I have to ask myself, okay, what is the barrier here to engagement, right? Is it that they just need a little bit of money for me to supply the materials? I had one student, and I'll try to land quickly, who would never bring a pencil. It was almost like a thing between us. He would never bring his pencil, and I gave him all these analogies, the cop who doesn't bring his gun and the doctor who doesn't bring the this and that. You got to have a pencil, bro. And it just got to the point that it was like, okay, if I want the learner to learn, I have to remove the barriers to his success. So it became a thing. Now, here's your pencil. Give me your cell phone. So now we engage in this exchange so that he can. And so I think that becomes important as we think about why our people are not actually completing these online courses to the degree of 97 to 99%. Where are the barriers? And when we get that data point, okay, it's been 2 weeks and I've heard about the this or the that or the other, right? Is it the money? Is it the fear, the anxiety, the setting? Is it too much of an ask? So I need to break it down into smaller parts. When we get that data, how do we then use that data to create the pivot so that our learner can learn? And so I think that's one of the most important parts, is that while you're along the way, create data points, just like Christelle was talking about. She has this survey so that she can collect the data so that she can customize the experience. Why? Because her priority is the learner learning and not just the teacher teaching, because then she could just create a bunch of videos and just post them, and then it's up to you. And then her students will be part of that 97%. And so that's what I really want to hone in on in this upcoming room, is what kind of data are we as edu creators in this space? What kind of data should we be collecting? What can the data tell us? How do we use that data to create the best experience for our students, for our learners?
So I'm going to actually start by talking about confidence. And then I also want to talk about tangible products that we create either within our courses or outside our courses, and go back to where I was with that before. In this interaction, there is the content creator, the course creator, and there is the student. And each of us need a level of confidence. There are so many people that want to create a course. And so I started out, when I introduced myself, just saying kudos to everybody that has ever created a course, because that takes a level of confidence. And sometimes when we start to doubt ourselves, we will stuff a course because we want to make sure we are giving the most value. But I want everyone here to know, who is taking that first step to create a course, that you are enough. I work in product management. I've built knowledge management centers for the government and nonprofit organizations. And I will let you know, we invest in an MVP first, right? And these are $1 million organizations. So as us as entrepreneurs, we should be starting with the least amount of investment and effort. But I also want to bring that point back to the fact that we've got to be confident in ourselves and what we are creating and what we're delivering to other people. Because when you are, you're not going to throw in the kitchen sink, because you're going to know that your time, your energy, your content, your creation is valuable. And you're going to learn to space that out and chunk that out more. And it's going to give you so much back as a creator, as a strategist, as a coach. The other part of this is the person on the other side. How are you going to build confidence in them? How are you going to motivate them? I've heard multiple people in this room discuss how they've invested their dollars without ever putting a minute into a course, starting a course, or creating a course. And there's a lot to unpack there, right? But I think the biggest thing is, like, one, for everybody that hasn't who that has courses out there that they paid for and they haven't finished yet, please go start that course. Please finish that course for yourself, whether you choose to do something with it or not. But what it will happen is that it's going to increase your knowledge, right? And hopefully through that, it'll increase your confidence. When you're thinking of creating courses, I really encourage everybody to think about the learner on the other side. And currently I work with NSF, and that I always use a human-centered design approach, whether I'm building data catalogs or knowledge management platforms or user resources and materials for individual learners. I think it's a great approach that all of us that are using technology can really learn. But building the confidence in your students is going to be really important. And the thing that will deflect a student from learning, whether they are a child or an adult, is that fear of rejection, is that fear of coming into a classroom, and whether it's another student or an instructor, there not being someone there that they can ask for support or ask for help. Y'all, when I was like 3, one of my core childhood memories is Christelle sitting me on the porch. We had a chalkboard and she was teaching. So this is something that this woman has been passionate about since as far back as I can remember her. It's my core memory of her. So to see her doing this in life, and she's not just putting content out there and saying, have fun with it and I'll see you when I put out the next one. No, she is walking this journey with the users of her products. Um, the other part of this too is going back to, not everything has to be a course. A lesson that I learned early on in my strategic management business is that I provide clients with a business playbook. And when I first started doing this offering, I would give clients the option. I can create the playbook for you. And so you show up to our sessions and we work through it. And then the next time we meet, you're seeing the output of that deliverable, right? Of that session that we had the last time. Or for a fraction of the cost, we can meet, but then you're creating the business playbook on your own. I have since then stopped offering the option where people can create the playbook on their own. Why? Because when I would see what people were turning in for their homework, it wasn't it. It didn't meet my expectations. It was not the peanut butter and jelly sandwich that I had set out for them to make, right? But then what happens to us as the creator, right? Or the business coach or strategist, we've given our client, our customer, our student an assignment. They've come back. It looks completely different than what we expected. We immediately, as natural instructors and teachers, go, where did I go wrong? What did I miss? What was the learning gap? How did we get here? And it creates a slight bit of panic. So I say that to say, with the example with the vision board, I would make that a prerequisite. Listen, and so that I know that you're dedicated to doing this program and you're committed to seeing it through, so that I'm showing up to these sessions and we're both here and we're both respecting and valuing both our time. I want to see your vision board ahead of you starting this course and make that the prerequisite. I sat with a client the other day. I dropped this in the chat, and they are currently transitioning into creating video content for their personal trainer, and they're creating video content for their clients, and they're so afraid to just start creating the videos. So I'm literally mapping out the steps for them, and one of the things we actually did was create a mood board in our session the other day. And so I started to create the mood board. I use Freeform. It's an Apple product and it's free. And then I go to Pinterest and I pull my links. Christelle has seen some of the vision boards that I create for my own manifestations and affirmations, but I was doing this for this person's digital content so that they could, get a sense of what their space needs to look like and what they need to do to prepare. And in walking her through how I create a board, I went to Pinterest and I was like, so just log onto your Pinterest account. And she was like, what's Pinterest? She had never even heard of Pinterest. So my foundational knowledge, I've been using Pinterest for at least 10 years, right? This person was not even in the ballpark. And so I took that opportunity to say, that's okay. We're going to do this one together. I'm going to screen to screen, sharing my screen. I'll pull the images for you. I'm going to actually start the vision board for you so that we don't lose anything here and that you have something. But I just say that to say there is opportunity in everything. And I love vision boards. If you have an opportunity to make something like a vision board or a mission statement or somebody identifying their values a prerequisite for them starting your course, that makes them like more motivated to actually do the thing when they can't just jump into it, when it's not just free or when it's not just their money. When they actually have to put something forth, they'll make that decision. And if they don't make the decision to create the vision board or the thing, they're not your ideal client. And I'm going to drop the mic there.
Yeah, you need to slam that mic
Right?
down. That mic burned a
Kingdom,
hole in the floor. Go ahead, Dr. Kimberly.
kingdom blessings, everyone, and good afternoon. This is a very powerful and enlightening, inspiring, and encouraging conversation. I came in on the intel of, I believe, of the entire conversation, but from what I'm feeling in the room is trying to understand what really is the use or our online courses really doing the job that they're set out to do. And for me personally, counseling, mentoring, teaching, ministering to a place of losing all of that ability to now in a place regaining, relearning, in the sense of coming from preschool, going back through the grades is where I am. I think right now I may be in the third or fourth grade right now, coming from a 6-year college student, graduate that level to down to now I'm at the baby stage. And I'm at the place of having to relearn how to learn and how to do things all over again. And with me, it looks totally different than the typical student or the typical being a typical teacher. And I hear everything about if they're not willing to this, they're not the typical student or a typical client. I hear if they're not willing to pay this or pay that, then they're not your typical what or what. But what about those that are in the stage where I am, that's trying to rebuild and get back to that place? That's the thing that kind of has me at a standstill, or one of the blockages or the hindrances that I'm dealing with, that I'm fighting against, because I want to, but I'm in a place where I don't have all the tools that I need to accomplish the goal that the online courses or the webinars or the mentorships and things of that nature that cost can provide and get me back to the place where I'm trying to go. And so that is where, and I've attempted to try to pay for some of the classes, pay for some of the courses. I've even tried to, I have courses already, even from when I was counseling and mentor. I have things, but I'm trying to put those puzzles back together, organize, I guess, bring structure back, build back up from that. My question is, or my thought process is, what do you do with the student or educator from that place?
I just want to say, Dr. Kimberly, oh my gosh, I'm sending you so much love, so many blessings, and I just want to pour into you right now and remind you of what Cindy talked about, which is confidence. And what I see here is transformation in you. And sometimes this is what's beautiful about growing in community is that people, excuse me, can serve as a reflection for you where we don't necessarily see ourselves. And I need this all the time. I go to community all the time for confidence building. I will absolutely admit that because there are times where I lose my confidence for a moment. And I know exactly who to go to that's going to gas me up or give me the confidence boost I need because so much of this is a confidence thing. And what I would say to you, Dr. Kimberly, is that I am so proud of you. And you've been in so many rooms and you don't come up on stage or you don't speak, and what you just shared right now and the way that you just shared your voice and came here and said, yeah, all this is nice, but and I have a question. I have a question. Like, you came in here with a strong voice and said, I have a question. What about me? And say on this stage, I have a question. And I want that. You said it in a way that's like, this question is going to need to be answered before we move on in this conversation. And I love it. So I just want to say to you that I'm very proud of you. I want to say congratulations to you because I just heard your voice. That is all you need. You don't need anything else. You don't need anything. We don't need anything else. I'm going to stop calling this stuff courses because I know it gets in our head. It gets in my head. We have to get out of this course box and just open up our voice. This is what I do. I know I have programs and offerings and memberships and courses, but all people are paying me for is to come here and keep talking. That's it. Because they know that if the well runs dry, I'm going to go back to a job and I won't be able to come here and talk anymore, and people pay me just to come open my voice. And so what I want to say to you, Dr. Kimberly, and then I'm going to pass it to Tanya, is you were saying that you're having to go back. You had to go back because of things happen in your personal life. You have to go back, and you were in preschool and now you're in third grade. And there's so many things I want to say. I keep thinking about how every time you enter a space, whether it's a text or here, anywhere, you are so consistent. And every time you enter a space, you say, what does she say, y'all? And that is what I pray for every day is better faith, stronger faith, because it's the only thing that I know that actually works. Forget all this other stuff. At the end of the day, what works is kingdom blessings and being consistent with it. Exactly like you are. So, who are you for? Who do you teach? You're going to teach the people that are in preschool and kindergarten and first grade and second grade because you're in third grade. And there are people who are on a very similar journey that you are on, and they need to hear your story and they need your guidance. They need to build their confidence. They're still sitting in the audience. They're scared to come up on stage. And I know you just did that, which is why it's so prime, it's so perfect for you to do it now. So I hope this encourages you to go and do, like I say, which is open up a room, invite us, trust that we will support you, and you start that room with all the kingdom blessings you want because it's your space. And we need that from you, Dr. Kimberly. Like, we need your space. So I'm just really proud of you. I can't stand you for making me cry on this Friday. I said I was going to stop crying on this app.
Oh no.
But sometimes God just comes in and just it just breaks through. But so thank you. I'm so proud of you and I appreciate you for being here. I'm going to start closing out the room, y'all, but I want to pass the mic to Tanya, and then I also want to welcome Emilion to the stage, and I'm going to pass the mic to you if you wanted to share anything before we start closing out. But thank you so much. This has been such an incredible room. I was doing an experiment with the title, and clearly it went well. So maybe this is all y'all are going to see from me. Throwing out courses in the trash. Go ahead, Tanya.
Dr. Kimberly, I had a whole bunch of things that I was going to say. Whole bunch of things. And now you're going to make everybody else cry because I'm going to bring you up again. The only reason that I can speak the way that I speak on this app right now is because people like Christelle gave me a platform where I felt safe enough to just speak the way I speak. And I don't know if you've ever been in other rooms with me before, but I have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth when it does, unless I take notes. I don't know how to land my
Sure
plane,
don't.
but what I do know is that I had an audience, I had a space, I had a business, I had all the things. And then 3 years ago, well, God, pandemic time, 4 years ago, some time ago, I decided to just shut everything down. And I just shut everything down. Didn't tell anybody, didn't know anything, just stopped. And I lost everything. And I needed to do it. It was a mental health break. I needed to do it. But I'm now building from zero again in a way that literally has me starting from zero again. I had to find the confidence to speak up again. I did not speak for 4 years or some other pandemic length of time. I did not get clients. I didn't teach anything. I did nothing. I cried for 2.5 years and then I ate ice cream for another 2. And I'm not mad at the second part. But there is a starting point for everybody. Everybody has a starting point. And whether it is the same starting point you were at before, or a new starting point, or a starting point that you've made up for yourself, you're still starting, which puts you ahead of all the people who aren't. Not to compare yourself to others, but you're starting. And the fact of the matter is that you're absolutely right. Some of us speak in this room, myself, some of me speak in this room as if everybody understands what we're talking about and that everybody is on the same page. And we're not. And there are those of us who thrive in the early stages. I love when people are just starting out because that means that I can prepare them for the next step. I don't want to be the person that makes you $1 million. I don't want to be the person that, that gets that book published for you. That's not who I am. I'm the person that says, here's the information you need to move to the next step, and I'm happy here. So pick my brain. I'm giving you permission. And if it gets too much, I'll tell you so by giving you an invoice. But should have the courage that you just displayed to say, I don't understand something. I'm not where you're at. Can somebody explain this to me? Somebody please help. That was the bravest thing I have seen happen in such a long time on this app, because this app, just like all of the other social media apps, is all of us showing our best selves. Unless you go into a room where you're not. But that's what we're doing. We're showing our best selves here. And your best self just showed up in saying, I need help becoming the best self that I see for myself. Because you're already your best self right now. You absolutely are. I love that you asked for help. Virtual hugs. And now I'm going to say something super crazy because what I said before wasn't. Okay, 3 things, you guys. Number 1, the technologies that we're talking about, by and large, have accessibility options. Make sure that as you're using technologies to put things out into the world, that you're checking to make sure that what you are putting out includes accessibility. There's a reason why when you look at websites and things, there's an H1, H2, H3, etc. And that's also helping the readers for people who have trouble with their vision. Okay, so that's a thing. Number 2, do not let anything else do your subtitles for you without checking on them, because people depend on those subtitles. And if you want to go one step extra, make sure that the subtitles also include parenthetically what you're doing with your hands or whatever, so that people know what the gestures are. Number 3, course creation, like Cindy said earlier, is a product. A course is a product. Everything that comes out of your mind is a product. Artwork is a product. Speaking gigs is your product. Your babysitting is a product. The idea is to productize your knowledge in this area. It's productizing your knowledge. It is not putting it to paper. It is not making it into a video. It is not getting on this platform or understanding this software. It is literally, this is what I know that I know, and literally nobody can tell me otherwise. I have this thing where I tell people, like, let somebody that cares about you say the worst things about what it is that you want to do, because you will defend yourself and you'll hear exactly what you should be saying about yourself. When you have to defend yourself, the true you comes out. So when somebody says, Dr. Kimberly knows nothing about preaching, Dr. Kimberly is going to flip a whole ass table and say, I don't know what about what? Let me tell you about everything that I know. When somebody says that Christelle doesn't know about educating, Christelle will stand on that table, flip you, and tell you what you need to know. And that's what we have in this space. We all have something in this space that we know, and that we would defend it if somebody who didn't care about us came and told us otherwise. And that's where you start. Because, and this is really important, if you don't start with something that you know that and that you would defend with passion or fists or both, I don't know how you guys fight. I don't have fists, but I do have passionately sharp words. When it comes to selling the thing, when it comes to introducing it to new people, you're not going to have the confidence that you would ordinarily have as a baseline. You need that baseline confidence of, if nothing else, I know this, nobody's business. Because you don't know sales. You don't know marketing. You don't know all of these other things that are going to pull from your confidence. And those are the things that you need to learn. And you make your mistakes. But the one thing that you're not going to make a real mistake on is the thing you know that you. And that is why I always tell people, start from that. It doesn't matter what you're interested in. It doesn't matter what your goals are. It doesn't matter. Blah, blah, blah. The thing that you would defend with your whole being is where you start. And Dr. Kimberly, you have something that you would defend with your whole being. So start there. Start there. Start small, start live. And like I said, I don't have an idea what's going to come out of my face. I did Facebook Lives for 3 straight years every day. I stuttered. I accidentally lost my words one day. I didn't know how to say notebook because I was so used to not speaking English. And then it was like, wait a minute, English is my first language. Why don't I know the word for notebook? Okay. I call people by the wrong name. Leave it in there. Nobody expects you to be perfect. And if they do, That's not your brand. They gave you something that you didn't have. It's not yours to carry. It is not yours to carry. Make your mistakes, stutter on your words, lose your words, ask for help in the middle of your own life. Do the things because you didn't get here for nothing. Thank you for coming to my Dr. Kimberly talk.
Listen to me. Do you know I got put in emoji jail 3 times during that TED talk? Meaning I was using the emojis so much that I couldn't use them anymore. And I was really upset because one of the times I was literally laughing out loud and I could not put the laughing emoji, but I really didn't want to interrupt you. So it was difficult. It was very difficult not to be able to express myself in emojis 3 different times because I got blocked. Clubhouse was like too many emojis. I don't, you know what? Listen, I'm not going to take the floor and the stage and go on like I would like to because I feel like I'm just going to do my best to keep you forever and that'll satisfy everything that I want to say. But I know you said earlier, so this is of all the things, this is the thing that I'm going to choose to say. Haha. You said earlier, I'm not here. I'm not the one that's going to take you to $1 million. I want to take you to the next step. Ooh, that was so good. It was so juicy. I probably ran out of my emojis then. But what I want to say to you is look, I do want to be that person to make people millions and millions of dollars. And I would love to do that for you because you are not do that for you, but I don't know. I just feel like you need to be a very highly paid speaker. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. I believe that the influencers of the future, like the millionaire, billionaire influencers of the future, are Tanya's and Monique's and Lisa's and Dr. Kimberly's and Danielle's and Crescentia's and Mr. Guru's and Emilion's. I just, that's my way of saying that what I see in you is beyond valuable. I don't even know where to put it. You are one of the best speakers I have ever heard here on Clubhouse. I could listen to you all day. And I'm telling you, people come to me and they're like, who is Tanya? Where did she come from? And when I'm in my lowest spaces, which I have found myself in more than usual the last few weeks, listen, what I'm not going to do is cry again. So I'm going to keep it real calm and simple. And I'm going to pass it to Emilion and then I'm going to pass it to Mr. Guru. It's so nice to see you here, Mr. Guru. But I'm going to land it here and say my heart has been broken a lot in building community. It's hard. It is hard because as I transition and as I evolve, I lose people and I get really attached to people. I really love people. Like it's a real thing. I know people say this isn't IRL, but to me, this is very IRL. Like I have IRL feelings here, okay? And so I've had these moments where I've just been like, oh my gosh, I feel like I have, I'm going through this transition of starting over. It feels like I'm starting over. And then God reminds me, Christelle, you're not starting over. First of all, you've had Monique by your side from the beginning, and she's still here. And then I'm reminded of the amazing new people that have been coming to us and that we are attracting in our new space and our new evolution. And when I'm in those low moments and I need something to pull me out of it, I think of you, Tanya, because it is like and I think of you too, Lisa, because it's like God is saying, Christelle, you're on the right track. Look who has come to you now. Look, Mr. Guru. Like these are Danielle, these are new people that are swirling around and they're coming closer and closer. So when I hear you, Tanya, speak like that and I listen to you, I'm just like, yes, Lord, I must be on the roads to riches if I'm next to Tanya. And we in WhatsApp DMing each other, like sharing personal stuff. I just feel good to know you and be connected to you. And I feel that way about I can't say all of you because some of you I do not yet have the pleasure of knowing. But Dana, I feel your energy and I love it. Ringmaster, it's so good to see you here. Z, it's so great to see you. And Adam and Saturn, it's great to see you back. And Denise, I just appreciate you all so much. And Sandra, I appreciate you for hanging around from the beginning. Like, it's just beautiful. So thank you all. I'm gonna pass it to you, Emilion. Thank you, Tanya, for being freaking amazing.
Hey everyone, I'm new to this space, so I heard you're closing down the room. For that, I won't enter with any of my questions. I'll just say, observing the communication between you ladies for the duration I've been here is very encouraging and supportive and just nice. And honestly, listening in already, some of my questions have been answered.
I'm here to
So,
answer all of your questions. I'm comfortable. I have my water. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to give you the floor. We're going to make sure that Mr. Guru has the floor. And then after that, I'll see if anybody else is itching to speak. But please take your time, ask your questions. I'm loving this space, so I'm here.
oh, okay. Thanks. Maybe I don't have a question. Maybe I'm just here for the community support because I'm at zero. I could really relate with what Tanya shared about 4 years of emptiness and now transitioning into giving birth to something, whatever it is. And I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know how to do it. But I really want to. I just don't know where to begin. And it's exactly that. It's the thing that I know that nobody can take away from me. And so it's that part is easy. The hard part is figuring out how to structure it for others. Because it's a lot of information and it's not like somebody else is putting it together for me. It's the onus lies on me now to understand how to translate everything that I've developed into a product, apparently, if I can call it that. Even though maybe it's more of a contribution. Who cares? It's just words. Yeah, I could relate to the title. Why are 99% of online courses garbage? I've had my fair share of disappointments taking online courses, and I certainly don't want to put out something like that for other people. Because I feel like once I'm on, everyone's watching. It's important to give something of value, something transformative, something exciting, something igniting, something enlightening in the sense of making others lighter. So yeah, that's just where I'm at. And honestly, like, who has answers for me? Nobody. I just have to take the action and learn as I go. So yeah, I think ultimately I'm here just to listen in and be in the community of people who are also interested in educating. That's it. Thanks.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to pass it to you, Tanya. I'm a woman, so of course I think I have answers, okay? I think I have all the answers and none of them at the same time. So what I'll say to you, Emilion, is I felt that. I feel you. We were throwing up emojis at the same time while Tanya was speaking. So I was like, oh my goodness, I know we're vibing on this. So my answer, at least in this moment, is this. This is it. Coming in community, showing up with each other, having these types of open discussions. This is the way I know to do it, at least for now. And so I just want to invite all of you to continue to stick around with me, like stay. I like to keep people and come back to these spaces at the same time so that we can continue growing and learning together because I just believe that's how we do it. We do it in community. And so that's who I am. That's what I do. Yes, I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, but I'm also a community designer and a community builder. I'm on now my third online community because I will build them and I will also walk away from them if it means I need to build a new one because I do outgrow. I do outgrow people, but I haven't outgrown Monique. She's been around from the beginning. And I have a feeling that there are people in this room that it will take a long time for us to outgrow each other. And those are the people that I'm looking to build with. So I just love this. My heart goes out to you and everyone. This is such a love fest. We haven't had one of these OCC Love Fests in a while. I've been craving it and needing it, so I just feel so full, and I want to say thank you. Go ahead, Tanya.
Probably going to be the quickest thing I've ever said in my entire life. Emilian, you said you corrected yourself on something. You corrected yourself on productized versus contribution. They're not mutually exclusive. And people who do things that are either spiritual or help, either mental help or physical help or spiritual help, whatever those things are, tend to think that they don't have a right to charge for them. And you absolutely do. You absolutely do. And the thing about money is it is a tool, right? So if you decide that you don't need as much money as the market will bear for the gifts that you're giving and the things that you're teaching, then you can give some away because it's your tool and you can use it to build something for somebody else. The idea that you don't have a right to charge is ridiculous. And everybody needs to stop that, because by you, first of all, by you not selling your product properly, you are literally holding yourself back and somebody else. Literally. So that's my thing. And really quickly, the Dalai Lama does actually charge for his visit. What he does is he makes sure that it is only the amount that is needed for him to get to the place, for him to eat, for him to be housed, et cetera, and not a penny more. And the establishment can only charge people what it will cost for the overhead of his visit. Money is being exchanged. It is how you use it. If you use it to be a douchebag, it doesn't matter what you're selling. If you're using it to better yourself so that you can better other people, make as much of it as you possibly can. As much as feels comfortable. As much as it takes for you to achieve the vision that you have for yourself and the things that you want to put out into the world. Thank you for coming to my fortune cookie.
Go ahead, Dr. Kimberly. Dr. Kimberly, Emilian, and then really to Mr. Guru. Thank you for your patience. I found my people and I'm really excited. Please stick around, do the thing, give me your email address so I can keep in touch with you. I meant to actually add a box there for a phone number if you want to give me your digits. I would love those too, because we do have a WhatsApp group, and that's also how I connect one-on-one with people. So if you want to slide into my DMs, I'm inviting you to, especially you. I'm just excited. I feel so good. And so that's why I selfishly keep going in this, because community is what's healed me in all of my starting over at zero moments. And I've had a lot through, especially over the past few years. So listening to you all is just like, oh my gosh, these are my people. So thank you.